The 12 Principles of Narcotics Anonymous. The seeds of the miracles in NA are found in the following principles. 1. Hope. Hope gives us something positive to look for and move towards. We can admit our need for help as we begin to share in our common welfare. 2. Surrender. Surrender to the things we cannot change through our own power is a way to get on with our lives. We seek a higher power of our own understanding, and that becomes our ultimate guide and source of strength. 3. Acceptance. Acceptance allows evasion and denial to give way to reality and peace. With the care of God, we are granted the power to welcome new people and new ideas into our lives. 4. Honesty. Honesty is the ability to match up our insides with our outsides. It allows what we don't care about to go away and what we really want to appear and develop in our lives. 5. Open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is our bridge to the experience of others. It is the passageway out of loneliness into the life of the Spirit. 6. Willingness. Willingness to try is the beginning of doing our part. However grand or humble that might be, it is a state of readiness, replacing depression and anxiety. 7. Faith. Faith is the evidence of our trust in God. True faith is the result of surrender coupled with the experience that God can and will do for us if we ask for help. 8. Tolerance. Tolerance is knowing the other person has the same spirit in them as us and being curious about what that spirit is trying to do. 9. Patience. Patience is taking time for things to move into place without force or breakage. 10. Humility. Humility is knowing the importance of doing our part well and being open to the many forms of help required for a full and abundant life. 11. Unconditional love. Unconditional love is given where we sense our spirit in another human being. 12. Sharing and caring. Sharing and caring is the active and passive forms of love that keeps us alive and allowing God to use us as instruments. Principles are the language of miracles. Increasing our language ability helps us make the right choices. Our minds often play tricks on us due to our disease, and we use spiritual principles as guidelines to escape our old ways. These principles can be mimicked, but unspiritual people lack certain characteristics associated with spiritual growth. Love, caring, patience, peace of mind are hard attributes to fake. We each have to reach a point of surrender to enter the state we call recovery. In NA, we have our own spiritual awakening, and this gives us our own evidence of the reality of the God of our understanding. We have to have our own miracles for spirituality to be real to us. Without principles, it is easy to fall back into our comfortable rationales where most of the world is wrong and we, poor isolated victims, are lost in the world of fools. We learn or create words to describe what is going on in our hearts so others can help us and so we can't help ourselves. Recovery is getting back with humanity. Spiritual growth is discovering ways to put principles into action. To grow spiritually requires 3 things: surrender, learning, and practice. We have found that maintaining our spiritual condition is the best safeguard against relapse. Our spiritual condition determines the quality of our life. Regardless of our station in life, it is possible to achieve a great state of mind and spirit. Many of our members spend a great deal of time in our meetings and functioning as part of our active service structure. Others go about their business in good faith and show their gratitude for recovery through personal service. Personal service is helping addicts seeking recovery. As we grow in recovery, unanticipated differences of viewpoint develop from our newly acquired information. When we begin to apply it, we discover ways to reconcile what we have learned with what we have known before and the situations around us. Pretending that these differences don't exist will ensure that they dominate us. Secrets have great power. We see this happen in any area of our lives where we are not free to openly discuss our feelings. While it may be a simple matter to resolve in open discussion, when we won't even admit something is wrong, it takes on the enduring quality of stone. Until we find recovery, the inability to come out into the open with living problems has kept addicts in prisons of their own making. Just the fact that there are others who share our concerns sets us free from feeling that we are alone. The 12 principles listed under Step 12 in the 4th chapter of the basic text, Narcotics Anonymous. They are the keys to joining the steps with the traditions. It is easier to avoid the pitfalls that come with practicing a spiritual way of life against the strains of everyday reality. Too often, good members have been pitted against one another where they have common cause in staying clean and helping others. Many times, simple misunderstandings have grown into grave conflicts entirely disappropriate to the original issues. Stubbornness and closed-mindedness prolong the conflict. Communicators must intervene, lest nature takes its course. In keeping with our growth as a fellowship and the spiritual nature of our program of recovery, it must be noted that we cannot serve two masters. We are spiritual first, and everything else is second. We cannot allow the forces of worldly concerns to erode our spiritual love and caring. We want to maintain our sensitivity and sincerity as our worldwide fellowship grows. If we are to survive the incredible and emotional strains of our growth, we will always have to look to our roots to remain on sound spiritual ground. These roots have to do with memories we each have of excitement and happiness we felt when we finally realized that NA could indeed grant us a new life. Their experience put us all on equal ground in service and as well as in recovery. They are our reference point for understanding what and why we do what we do the way we do it. One thing that will doom us to stagnation in recovery is an attitude of indifference toward spiritual principles. When we are young in recovery, the world is full of uncertainty and discovery. We are forced to summon our inner reserves to learn about getting clean and staying clean. We are really trying and really listen to what others have to say. We read spiritual literature and expect to find new answers to help us reorient ourselves to the clean life. When we think we know the answers, we float into indifference. We know we don't really know all of the answers, but we have been clean a while and there's no one to tell us to get real anymore. Intolerance is when we do the same thing to other people. We discount the fact that they are clean and trying, even in difficulty, to make sense of their lives and find their way out of their traps. Instead of floating in a sea of uncertainty, we can begin moving forward in directions of our choice. Many lost dreams have only waited in the darkness of our memories. Many times we will find ourselves waking up to rediscover forgotten feelings and lost goals that have become impossible in active addiction. Principles are what guide us around the pitfalls and away from the thin ice where reality cannot support us. We get on an honest footing with reality and it supports us. If there were really something terrible out there waiting to get us, it has surely had its chance. We find that we have to act on the opportunity in front of us on a daily or a moment-by-moment basis to be able to see ahead to the next opportunity. If we do not do what's in front of us, we feel ourselves falling behind. If this happens, all we have to do is ask the God of our understanding for help to get back on the recovery road. We do what is in front of us. Then the next thing, and soon we are so busy living clean. we have trouble recalling what was bothering us. It is amazing how well the simplicity works. Even if we feel discombobulated, we can do the right thing. The power of positive action and attitude is greater than the negative. Principles give us words to describe functional parts of our new reality. They all come from a spiritual focus inside our being. Within this focus, the principles fall back into being mere words without the spiritual force, like a candle without a flame. It is scary to experience this. We all find we need help. This is what we do in our meetings when we get beyond withdrawal and the obsession to use is lifted from us. All NA members can remember times when the program seemed unreal, unsafe, and uncertain. They got past the crisis and continued going to meetings and found their objections with just one more effort to return to active addiction. Enrichment describes the way members bring their current personal experience into the rooms of NA to share what they are finding with others. This stops short of endorsing outside issues, but valid experience is what keeps NA alive and growing. We carry our program with us into any area of our new lives. What we discover is brought back and shared with other members and may become part of the spoken or written body of the material we all draw in recovery. This way, any experience any of us has that encourages or enhances an addict's chance of staying clean or living a better life gets taken into our meetings and shared out to those who may find it useful. This does not mean that we tell members to go to our therapist, our church, or another support group. We can share what we learned there and how it interested us or helped us in our recovery. The process of the 12-step recovery is amazingly resilient and absorptive of this sort of input. For the computer field, we hear information overload equals pattern perception. A member might share some pain and anger from childhood that came out in a group therapy session. It is absurd that this member will say where this event took place. We can share these things without endorsing outside enterprises or expressing opinions on outside issues. The world is our preserve in recovery. No door is closed to us. Why then will we shut ourselves in unless we were fearful, once again, of losing control? The spiritual principles we explore in this chapter relate both to the 12 steps and the 12 traditions. There was an old idea that behind each and every step in tradition was a common principle. The idea is that the individual expression of the principle is in the step and the collective expression is in our tradition. Admission of our addiction and the foundation of our common welfare both rest on our hope.